Hello everyone, I'm Ultraviolent 4 and I am welcoming you to this brand new playthrough of Dungeon Crawl Stone Soup. In this run we're going to attempt a 5th win in a row and we're going to be playing a Formicid Earth Elementalist. Formicid's over here in the so-called advanced category. They're basically humanoid ants who can dig. I say basically, but they're actually kind of a complicated species. This run isn't dedicated. We've got our first plane going over. Starting it off nice and early. But I know that's why some of you are really here. It's not for my crawl playing, it's for the plane noises. It's okay, I understand. Okay, so this run isn't dedicated to anyone in particular. The inspiration initially comes from a few runs ago when I played a Null who randomly used spells. There was a brief period there where we were using Petrify to stab things, and I've never probably done a run where that was used before, but for that brief time using it, it was really fun and effective, so that got my mind thinking a bit. And then to add to that, in the most recent tournament, I began falling more and more in love with the spell Passwall, and it kind of occurred to me at some point that using Passwall on a Formicid would just be absurd, because you'd be able to dig your own tunnels to set up Passwalls. So I thought, a Passwall petrification stabber who's a Formicid. That sounds very silly and very fun, and I'm hoping it will be. That's what we're going to go with. Earth Elementalist. Now, this might sound kind of memey, but I want you to have a look at the aptitudes on a Formicid. I don't know, maybe you know this, but it was kind of a surprise to me. Okay, they're good at earth magic, you might expect that because they're ants. But have a look at some of their other aptitudes. They have a +3 in stealth, and then a +2 in hexes. That seems to suggest that they might actually be fairly strong stabbers. I've only ever really played Formicid mostly as a melee bruiser, kind of as a fighter. So, yeah, this is a little bit different for me at least. Alright, so what are we going to do? Let's have a look at Formicid first. You're humanoid, you have average HP, but +10 magic points. +10% magic points. Here. Formicid's interesting, I'd say, because it's a nice mix between positives and negatives that make it play in a very unique sort of fashion. At the top here is your innate stasis. While you're protected from being paralyzed and slowed, you cannot haste, blink, teleport, or berserk. So yeah, you can get yourself into some pretty rough situations. To help you with that, you're able to dig through walls and also to shaft yourself. So unless you're on the bottom floor of a branch, which as it turns out is often the most dangerous place in the game, you can, as a last resort, shaft yourself. Another interesting thing about Formicids is that you get 4 arms, which lets you use a 2-handed weapon along with a shield. And that can be a ranged weapon as well, so you can have a shield and a crossbow. And for the purposes of a shield, a Formicid is a large species, so you actually require less skill for it. It's kind of a no-brainer, which we know the devs love. But yeah, shield on a Formicid, do it, every time. You also finally get a large pair of antennae on your head, which not only lets you sense monsters that are around you, but it lets you innately see invisible. Unfortunately, you don't get to wear any helmet or any hat, but not a huge loss. I mean, a bit of a loss, because it basically guarantees you're going to find a hat of the alchemist or some other artifact hat, right? That's basically how crawl works. Good. I cannot show you our starting spellbook because there are no such things as spellbooks in crawl anymore. We now have a spell library. So these are the spells that are in our library. Basically, when you find a book, rather than picking it up and carrying the book around, spells get added into your library. And if you hit exclamation mark here, you can switch between describe, hide, and show. I don't know what show is. Oh, it did. No, not sure. We'll figure that out in a bit. Maybe that just shows your hidden spells. Anyway, the point is we'll deal with that later. So we've got a bunch, the Book of Earth that we started with has a bunch of Earth spells, and then it also has Passwall and Petrify in it, which are going to give us our stabbing utility. We started off with Sandblast, which is not a bad level 1 spell. It does decent damage, but it relies on having stones. So it is possible to get really unlucky and never find any more stones, in which case you're in trouble. Alright, let's have a look at our spells here. Our main means of killing enemies is going to be earth magic. You can think of that like your weapon, so it's the thing that you want to focus. I like having spellcasting on at least for a little bit, because it's going to give us more spell levels and more mana. Stealth will keep on because we want to... it's a good defense, but it's also going to help us with stabbing damage. And then I like to have a more explicit defensive skill training as well. Rather than dodging, which is a -1 aptitude, I think we'll turn on fighting, which is +1, which will give us extra HP, make us more survivable. This looks okay to me. Just before we go, we're going to set up a macro with the tilde key, and we're going to make our macro ZAF. F works as fire or enter when you're doing a spell, so our macro there is going to shoot Sandblast at the nearest enemy. I should check that. I'm just going to clear my other macros. There's no button in the game or option to clear all your macros. Unless you do it by RC, you can do that, but I've never done it. So we'll just do this, so we're not accidentally hitting macros, and whoops, tilde S then saves them all. Okay, cool. One final thing just before we go. So I finished writing and have released the first character guide that I'm going to write. So if you hop over to ultraviolent4.com, more specifically it's ultraviolent.4 or ultraviolent4.com/characters, and the first one is a Hill Orc of Bio. So if that interests you, I'd be interested to hear your feedback now, before I write 25 more guides and then you have some brilliant idea and I have to go back. So yeah, that'd be great if you got some feedback. Let's play Crawl. I'm a little bit afraid of a Formicid here on D1. A very useful part about being a Formicid, at least in the early levels, is that you can sense enemies. So we're sensing 3 enemies at once. That's much too scary. So rather than go to the left, we're going to head right. Alright, and we found our first dagger, so we immediately get the ability to stab things, which is nice. We're not sensing any enemies here. This might be a singular wall, or it might be more of a deep rock wall. I'm hoping it's the latter, because one of the things you want to do in the early game on pretty much any character, but especially on characters that use their mana to kill things, is to find pillars to run around. But with our digging ability, we can actually make our own ones first, before we find any enemies. In the ability menu with AF, we can dig, and I shouldn't make it a single tile one. Okay, so we made a bit of a pillar here. So now if we find an enemy and we want to recharge some combination of our health and mana, we can come back here and then run around this pillar that we've just made. Cool. On we go. Alright, so fortunately the lizard didn't see us, so we can fight the goblin. Alright, we got him in 1. This is our stealth paying off here. As much as possible, we want to fight just one thing at a time. I ran back there because I didn't want to get the goblin. Alright, keep going. Here's a leather armor. I think it's probably worth putting on. It's going to give us 1 extra AC for the cost of 1 evasion, which AC is usually preferable to evasion. And it's not going to affect our spell failure too much. It's only at 4%. So let's give that a go. We're 2 AC, 12 EV. This is 3 and 11. So yeah, basically swapping 1 for 1. And our spell failure went from 4% to 6%, which is not a big deal. It will slightly penalize us in terms of our stealth as well, but not an amount that makes me want to give up that 1 AC. I could throw stones at this hobgoblin to attract it to us, but I'd actually rather not accidentally mulch them, because we didn't. He's wearing a glowing ringmail, and our stones that we fired have not hurt him. That makes me really concerned. So Sandblast is kind of a funny spell. It checks the AC of the thing you're shooting it against, I think 4 times. It's certainly 3 or 4. So it actually does very poor damage against AC or high AC enemies. So yeah, we've hit him twice. Did we? No, the first one missed. The second one didn't really damage him though. So this makes me think that we're going to have a really hard time. He might have, I don't know, a +5 ringmail or something like that. Luckily we pre-built our pillar, and he doesn't have a weapon, so that helps too. So we're just going to do our last Sandblast. Okay, that one did hit him. So maybe it was a bit of a fluke. Let's see. At level 2 we'll get our Passwall. I'm thinking putting a ringmail on will significantly harm our spellcasting, and the fact that it's glowing means that there's a good chance that it's just cursed. So there's also I don't know, based on the fact that our Sandblast did very low damage there, I'm thinking maybe this might be in some way enchanted or magical, but I think it's probably too dangerous. If that does mess with our spellcasting here, and it's cursed and minus, we'll be in trouble. So I'm going to wait until we find remove curse. We're going to be streak players and not take the risk of putting it on. Alright, enemies in here. Let's pre-dig through there, and then we'll take the door. The reason I want to pre-dig is that I can demonstrate. If we look up here in the top right, the number in brackets is how long your last move took. If we're just moving normally, it's 1, but if we dig, it's 1.2. So you actually dig slower than you walk, which means you don't really want to do it when enemies are chasing you, because you're going to give them free attacks. Alright, Hobgoblin, that's okay. That's way too much stuff. Okay, I was hoping that maybe some of those would be weaker, like bats or something, but no. It's 4 of the more scarier D1 enemies, and 2 of them have weapons. So we're not going to go there. Maybe if we come from the bottom left, we could split them up a bit. We see 2 of them are coming. I don't have had numlock off. Okay, well now I can dig. So I'm going to dig like this. When you're digging these kill holes or these passes of Formicid, you're better off making them staggered or diagonal like this, because it means that I didn't even see us. Except for the enemy adjacent to you, no other enemy can see you. That's more important for things like Orc Priests, things that can create summons, etc. But it's still good because, for instance, we can hide in our little hidey hole here, and then we're not guaranteed, but we're much more likely to be able to rest up to full HP and mana. We reached level 2, let's go Passwall. Alright, so now I can begin the Passwall stabbing. We got to level 2 pretty quickly there because Formicid naturally gains experience at a high rate. Alright, so how does Passwall work? And I'm excited about this. Okay, Passwall lets you go through rock walls, and okay, well, how about I just show it first. So we cast Passwall, it asks for a direction. I'm going to pick up. You see, we begin to meditate on the wall, we meditate on the rock a whole bunch, and then we pass through it. So How deep the wall you can get through depends on your spell power, and how long you have to wait and meditate depends on the thickness of the wall. So you have to wait for the thickness plus 1. So to get through this 1 tile wall takes 2 turns. If we tried to go right here, it would take us 3. Well, we failed it. Okay, it's extremely deep because we're low level, so even getting through 2 tiles, it turns out that we can't do it. And the really interesting thing about Passwall, and what I'm hoping will make this interesting as a stabbing tool, is that you spend no time on the other side. As in, how would I phrase that? When you do your waiting and you then appear on the other side, there's no time for enemies to react, to wake up, etc. So if you do Passwall next to an enemy that's asleep, you guarantee that you get to stab it. And because we have the ability to sense monsters, it means we can sneak up on them while digging through the walls and then Passwall out next to them and stab them. I got a macro there, get rid of that. That might, you'll understand when you see it. So, alright, this guy, he's not next to a wall though, except from the bottom. I don't know if we'll be able to Passwall him from below. We can try, never mind. This guy's throwing stones at us. That's a good thing because it means that we're gonna restock up on stones for our sandblast. Alright, well, so much for Passwall stabbing, everything's waking up. That guy's wandering. He's also got stones though, so that's good. He's got a short sword. It does more damage than a dagger would. We'll pick it up. I'm not gonna wield it now because it might be cursed, even though it's just a grey looking item. If we're gonna be stabbing, I'd rather... So I'm just thinking, I don't think we can Passwall to this guy, maybe. Oh, maybe we can. Okay, so yeah, I'd rather keep the dagger for the stabbing bonus. So let's give it a go. I don't know if this guy's still here. We fought a few hobgoblins, but let's see. We'll Passwall up. Okay, yeah, he isn't. There's too much noise made already. He woke up. That's okay. But that would be the plan. So say he was still there, we would have popped out from the wall next to him, and then we would have been able to stab him without giving him the opportunity to wake up. For these regular bats, I probably shouldn't be stone blasting them. They're not really threatening, such that we couldn't just hit them with our dagger. And then we're wasting stones, so I regret that a little bit. Well, from now on. Here's our first 2 of something. I'm willing to read this because a 2 of something on D1 is likely to be either identification or remove curse. Both of which are good. And why hasn't it been auto-inscribed up? Because I'm just assuming it's identify. But it's not yet. Alright. Is it worth doing the ring mail? I feel like no, that's not a huge rush. I'd probably rather get our potions. Curing or heal wounds would be ideal. There's curing, okay. In some ways, potions are less valuable as a Formicid in the early game because a bunch of the helpful ones, such as haste or berserk, you can't use. Alright, so here we go. So we saw this enemy, he didn't wake up. So now we've dug up next to him with the plan of Passwalling out. Oh, we failed it, okay. It looks like when you fail it, you still have to wait. Do you? No, we just failed it. Okay, never mind. Okay, so here it is. Here's our first Passwall stab. Yeah, so he doesn't get to react. We popped out of the wall. And then, bam, got him. That's so sick. That's actually so sick. I mean, we saw him with our own eyes, so it's not the full Formicid tech play where we sensed him first. without antennae and then did it. Hey, 18 stones. Alright, that puts us in pretty good stead. Okay, look at this. This is pretty sick too. So we can block line of sight to the kobold, and then we can sneak up like this. And I'm trying to think, we can't really pass wall next to him. So we can't go to the right because he's blocking the tile. If we try to do that, it will just say, oh, okay. Well, I thought it would just say something's blocking the rock, but it seems like we just popped out and then, I don't know, he got afraid. That's interesting. Okay. Maybe he woke up in the turns we were meditating. I'm not sure. We'll have to see in the future. Okay, strength int or dex. I think I'd rather just go int for higher spell power. Uppercase only. Sure, why not? So as a stabber generally, you kind of want to have a backup plan for when things wake up or you don't get to stab them. That's going to be especially true for a Formicid stabber because you can't escape from things. So if you're all in on stabbing, you're going to have a bad time when anything wakes up. Seeing that we're going into the Earth school for our spells and that we're naturally good at that, I think it makes sense to just head towards Earth magic. In which case, if we end up wanting to use any of the higher level Earth conjurations, we're going to want to have intelligence. The other option would be dex. Increasing dex increases your stealth. But I think that having the higher spell power having the higher int for intelligence is going to be better. And part of that is just having the spell power. So when we get to Petrify and we're relying on spell power for the hex to work, we're going to want more int. Let's learn Stone Arrow. With equals S, I'm going to put it from B to X, and I'm going to make a new macro that fires that. Stone Arrow costs 3 mana, so it's much less efficient than Sandblast is, but it's better against high AC targets. So Sandblast, yeah, anything like say, why can't I? Interesting. Anything like an Orc Warrior that's wearing a chainmail, you're not going to hurt them at all if you try to use Sandblast on them, but Stone Arrow will. My shift plus direction is not working. Oh, okay, it is. It's just not working with my numpad for some reason. That's really odd. Okay, odd. Here's another identifier. We've got our curing. No, I think we just keep going potions, and it's heal wins, so we got rewarded for that choice. Alright, we're sensing a few monsters here. Nope, that guy woke up. So did he. Oh, I want numlock off, not on. Okay, now it's fixed. Never mind. Had it run the wrong way. Whoops. Okay, so there might be... Well, hang on. We entered a teleport trap, which doesn't bother us because we've got stasis, so we can't be teleport trapped. What was the other point I was making? There might be an argument that we could turn on short blades. Not only would that let us fight hand to hand with this dagger if we had to, it would increase our stabbing damage. But I think that's not a huge priority because if we're gonna fight... Oh wait, what am I doing? Let's... Oh, okay, never mind. So digging makes some noise, which is what woke that guy up, I think. Yeah, you see on the noise meter here, it goes yellow. So what I should be doing like that is if we see a monster and we want to start digging a passwall to him, we should probably head back a bit and then dig all the way over. Yeah. But as regards to training short blades, every enemy we've tried to stab so far, we've killed them. So I'm not worried about getting more damage. Now identify. We've got both our curing and our heal wounds. They're probably the most two important potions we could get early game as a Formicid. I mean, maybe something crazy like experience or something rare like invis, but that's unlikely. Let's go the ringmail. It is cursed plus a ringmail, so the weighting was correct then. Let's see. Stone Arrow is at 32% to fail at the moment. If we put ringmail on, we'd never be able to cast it. And I'm just thinking, we should probably train a little bit of conjurations for that to work. What if we set a spell target for Earth at, we'll say 6, and then after that we'll do a little bit of conjurations just to get it that more reliable. Check this hatch. Okay. Can we Passwall out? No, I dug. That's the wrong thing. That's just a bat. Okay. We'll fight him with melee. I accidentally dug instead of Passwalling, which is my bad. That's another. All these plain, or not plain, but singular scrolls. I'd rather wait until D4. Oh, hey, we got a glowing dagger. Okay, so this might just be a cursed dagger, but we also just picked up a second scroll or something. So I'm heading to the stairs to read that. That might be our remove curse. One of the main reasons you head to the stairs is scroll of teleportation, which won't bother the Formicid, but a scroll of noise would be bad. It's remove curse, so we can wield this dagger. +1 dagger of venom. Okay, that's amazing. Equals I. I'm going to put that on A. That makes our character a lot stronger and means that our short blades becomes much more enticing, because now we can still swing at 1.0 with 0 training. So maybe that's okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the dagger's still good with 0 skill. I think we get Stone Arrow castable to give us a ranged option, and then we worry about short blades. But this is really good because you can hit things with venom and then kite them as they tick out to the poison. Alright. Oh, I went one tile too far. That was meant to be the Passwall turn. It's going to take a bit of practice. I've never done this before. Okay. 4 scrolls or something. We gained 3. Well, we've already done our identify and our remove curse. This makes me think it's probably teleportation, but maybe we just won the lottery and this is magic mapping, in which case I'd like to wait until D4 and try to get the temple. Can we Passwall next to this monster? Nope, we failed. Again? No, we failed again. How are we doing that? It's extremely deep, so that tells us there are at least 2 tiles. We can dig through 1, and let's try again. Nice. That's so funny. I don't know why. That's awesome though. 5 scrolls or something. That's got to be teleport. Oh, got quick up. And a whole bunch of stones, which is good. Up to 52. We gained 22 in that pile, and another 15 there. Alright, so we're no longer worried about Sandblast. Do I care about a spear? Not really. Let's drop our cursed ringmail and pick up this plain one. Apparently this kobold, he's wearing a chainmail. So yeah, that's a good example. I was going to say, apparently this kobold is just immune to Sandblast. It's because he's wearing a chainmail. So that shows you right there what happens with an enemy that has AC. So what we're going to do is instead just get him with the dagger of venom and let him tick out to poison. 6 scrolls. Is it? Do we dare to dream? Is that 6 acquirement scrolls? Let's go more potions. Ambrosia, Lig. Okay, Lig's useful. That can give us our poison in an emergency situation. Alright, one more tile up. The monster herd, okay. So work it up. Noise can travel through walls, so yeah. Some monsters are going to wake up as we try to Passwall on top of them. Like this guy, he woke up. But yeah, I don't know. Every possible stab that we can try, we will. Alright, he has an enchanted whip. We're gonna dig down, and he's woken up. Has he? Yeah, he's woken up. Oh, we reached level 4. We don't have the spell levels for it yet, and it's gonna take some transmutation training, but ultimately we're gonna want Petrify and LRD, but that's gonna take a little while because, yeah, we're gonna need quite a few more spell levels to get that. So let's see. Yeah, I think we keep the same training plan. Because we're going to be able to fight things just fine with ranged earth spells and then a Dagger of Venom. So we don't really desperately need the Hex right now. And I don't know, it might seem strange that I keep calling Petrify Hex because it's a transmutation and an earth spell, but I think of it like a Hex. You hex an enemy and then you can stab them. Alright, that's D2 done. On to D3. Some gloves. Okay, let's put those on. A Sif altar. I don't think Sif is really the plan that we want to go for on this Formicid. And also, oh, okay. Alright, well I was just about to show you how Passwall can be a really good escape tool. And I was just going to show you just to demonstrate it. But because this kobold has a blowgun, we've got 2 curing, so we're not going to die to it, but that's okay. But I think this might actually be quite useful here. So, enemies can't follow you through the rock wall. So if we Passwall up here, I'm hoping he can't just, when we go to the stair, he can't just see us from below. But we'll see. So we're going to Passwall up. We miscast it. What is going on with our Passwall? We've miscast that spell so many times. We miscast it again? Did we? You hear a distant rumble. What does that even mean? Oh no, we did miscast it. Okay. So we miscast it twice in a row there at 12%. Can we get a third one? We really... Okay, we got it that time. Alright, now we go up and heal. Alright. Oh dear. Okay, he's down there. We could pop up... We could Passwall back through, pop up next to him, and then hit him in the face. I kind of like that idea. Okay, let's go adjacent to him. So, here's a cool thing about most monsters. When you're adjacent to them, they won't use range options. So if I had continued to stand here and shoot spells at him, he would poison us. But by standing next to him, he's going to now switch to melee. That's better. And we're going to claim his blowgun and poison needles. We saw him switch away from it, so we know that it's an uncursed blowgun. So we're safe in wielding it. We have remove curse anyway, so it's not a big deal. I'm going to put it on B. And now when we hit apostrophe, we can switch between A and B. That gives us another ranged option. It's a full screen ranged option, in fact, that we can poison things with. There is so much stuff that we want to train. So I don't think we want to train throwing for the blowgun. Here's an adder. Let's see. Can have some poison attempts as it approaches, and now we'll switch to... I keep forgetting the name of that spell. Sandblast. Okay, good. Another scroll. We're gonna wait. Alright. I keep checking our spell levels to see how close we are from Petrify, but it's so far away. The worm is really good just to poison and kite because it moves slowly. This guy has a sling, so it's another ranged option. Don't really want to go for that one. We have seen sling bullets. Yeah, we have. So I was going to say we don't want it because we don't want to shoot our stones, which we need for our spells. But arguably we could shoot sling bullets, but we have enough ranged options already. How greedy are we? Can we... No, we cannot sneak up on the adder. Stone Blast kills them really well because anything that has no AC, so just normal animals and that sort of thing, is going to die very quickly to Stone Blast. Let's try to think, how can we... Trying to figure out a passwall that will land adjacent to him. Going up and diagonal here will work. How does this keep happening? 11%. There we go. Alright, here's a null. Gnolls tend to come in packs and he's just noticed us. So we're really hoping that none of these guys have throwing nets. I'm gonna head back to our stairs that are up here. Do not want to fight gnolls. We can use our passwall here to sort of manufacture some distance with him so that he can't then come up. And because we've done that, we now actually have him at full screen. So we could try poisoning him a few times. Okay, oh, we got him once there. The thing is, because he's got a halberd, he's not ever going to step adjacent to us to come upstairs. The problem is that a halberd gnoll can do 9 plus its halberd, which is a lot of damage. Let's see, halberd is... I don't remember. 13 damage, so that's 22 damage, which means he could two-shot us, so we actually can't mess around. We need to just go straight back up. And that's now too dangerous to go back to that stair. Where is he? He's down there. We could try again. We got a little bit unlucky with our poison needles to start that. If we'd hit him just maybe twice, we could have then kited him with the poison. No, don't even know where he is. Ideally, that last potion is flight. Let's see. Oh, it went for the rat. That was not the correct play. I wanted to get the kobold. Okay. Now, if we could just fight these gnolls one at a time. Okay, our stealth paid off there. Because we're going to get trapped in the corner if they come, let's make a little path here so we can escape. And we'll try again. Do not want to have one of these gnolls or even some of them run at us and then we get trapped in the corner here. These gnolls are way too tricky. I could shout, but I don't really want us to shout. I don't want all the gnolls at once, but where are they? These guys are way too sneaky. Hey, a new book. Alright. And believe it or not, we just got the Hexa starting book. Alright, that's interesting. So that lets us go more into actually being a full-on Hexer if we want to train Hexers. We probably don't because it's going to overlap somewhat with our Earth plan, but gives us more options. What happens here, or not what happens, but I'm really bad, and this is only going to get worse, at looking at a full spell list like this and figuring out what spells I want. And because there is no way to auto hide spells, so say, because the spells we want from here are Petrify and LRD. So rather than keeping those two here and then having to come back to the library and then hiding all these new spells that we found, let's hide Corona, and so on. Okay, yeah, the show menu, it shows you the ones that have been hidden. Can we unhide it? How do you unhide something? Okay, you then just, on the show menu, you just, oh, I see, so you're hiding or you're showing it again. Alright, yep. So the point I was making is rather than hiding all the new spells that we come across every time, I think the only way I'm going to be sane with this new spell library system is to use it in reverse. So what I'm going to do is hide the spells that I want to learn. Okay. So now when we go to the hidden spells menu, they're going to be the ones that we want to learn. You can't memorize a spell from here, so it means that you then have to show it again and then memorize it. But that's going to be way easier than hiding everything. So if you're watching this, devs, can you have an auto hide option or something like that? That guy was really strong. We're still looking for gnolls. Where are they? We didn't kill them, and we're done exploring. So Shift X Control F forgets the floor. We're gonna run around again and try to find them. Not only are they good experience, but we don't want them just running around causing havoc on this floor. If we have to retreat upstairs from D4, we don't want to be coming upstairs to find gnolls. It's not something you ever want. If you can, you want as few gnolls in your life as possible. This guy doesn't have a weapon. He's much less scary. We can just fight him. It's the halberd one in particular that we're worried about. Yeah, okay, we got him. Oh, okay. Alright, I'm gonna have to remember how to do this. We have enough spell levels for Petrify. Let's learn that. We're gonna have to unhide it first and then memorize it. This is gonna take a bit of practice. This great quality of life spell library. It is. I don't wanna malign it too much. It is a great quality of life thing, but it's gonna make me go insane as it currently stands. Petrify. Okay, put that on Z. And I'll make a macro on F1 that does Z, Z, F. Cool. Alright, it's just the halberd gnoll left. We're near starving, so let's eat. Shift X Control F again. He escaped. And we got him at full screen, which is perfect. Although, once again, we're not hitting him. He's very nearly dead. Even though he can two-shot us, I think if he hits us once, we can just kite away. And he's very nearly dead. I think one more sandblast, or one sandblast should do the trick. It didn't. He can do 22 damage. Okay, we need to run now. And let's see, he's so nearly dead. Alright, well he's on the cusp of random energy where he's falling out of hitting us range. So let's, while he's 2 tiles away and can't hit us back, let's try a... Can hear some revelers in the background, it sounds like. It is Friday night. Okay, maybe we should go a stone arrow. No, it's 24% chance to fail. Sandblast is the play. No, didn't get him. Alright, there you go. He random energied us there. He caught up the gap and then hit us. Okay, well we need to kite him until we get back to... what is that thing called? More than 22 HP, so we don't get random energied and died. And when we've got 23 HP, which is now, we're gonna go back upstairs and we'll start this fight again. Halberd knows, man. You can find these guys on D1. Okay, we'll kite him out for the poison. It ran out. Come on. Alright, got him. Good. Alright, Shift X Control U undoes the floor forgetting, and now it's gone to D4. Is it better to walk around with the blowgun out to poison things or the dagger out to stab? I'm not sure. And actually, yeah, let's just get our poison needles back. I don't know, it's kind of a toss-up. Both are legitimate. Now that we're on D4, I like to read my scrolls. If we get lucky and find magic mapping, it might show us where the temple is. We're just going to go down the list. Enchant armor. We'll put it on our gloves. That's the we're more likely to end up keeping the gloves for a while than we are just a random leather armor. Fear. Enchant weapon. Dagger venom for sure. Yeah, okay. It was 6 teleport scrolls. And amnesia. Sandblast is so good for 1 mana for a while. Yeah. We're not ready to lose it yet. We're sensing this guy. Let's see if we can Passwall to him. No, okay, we can't. And it's a hound. Hound is faster than us, so we can't run. Can bite for 6 damage. Has no AC. Well, standard AC because it's can't wear armor. So we should be able to get it just with Sandblast. Yeah. Shreds low AC enemies. Gnaws again. Halberd gnaws again. We want to start heading back to our stairs. This is probably too dangerous. There are 2 of them and they both have polearms. So let's just Passwall down. We really miscast it again. Come on now. This guy, he's 1 and he's just the spear guy. We can maybe fight him. We'll take him upstairs. And I abused, well not abused, but I stepped back before starting to hit him with spells. Because if we're going to engage him, we want to be the 1 tile away first. So that if we do have to run, we don't take an extra spear shot. Get him. Halberd guy might be right here. I'm really glad he's not. Okay, he's not there. We found a shaft. Thank God. Shafts are so unfair when you're a Formicid because you can get shafted into horrible situations and then you can't teleport out. A Phantom. Let's see. There's not a lot we can do to them, although he doesn't have much AC, so actually I lied. We can hit him with our stones. Here's a blinking enemy, so they get pretty wrecked by parking if you have to. And what I mean by that is, we could have taken him upstairs here. Say we couldn't kill him. We bring him upstairs, he blinks away, we just go back downstairs and we park him on this level. That's what that means. We're still quite a while off LRD. In terms of spell levels, we need 4 more. Earth Magic is very nearly at 6. Okay, so we'll do Conjurations next. Here's a worker ant. Okay. They're susceptible to poison, and when an enemy is still asleep like this, you won't ever miss. Unless you're doing melee attacks while standing in water. But what I mean is, our poison needle will never miss. So we can shoot that one at him from range. It's going to poison him, for sure. Okay, well, it didn't kill him. And because he's susceptible, he's going to take a lot of damage from it. Same play here. Okay, he got hit twice, so he's certainly dead. Earth Magic makes it to 6. Stone Arrow's at 19%. Let's put Conjurations on. Let's focus it, and we'll take it to... We'll go to 3. That's maybe a bit higher than I need right now, but I don't know. I'm kind of banking on the fact that we're going to do Conjurations again in the future. Okay. The fact that we saw an Orc means that there's a very good chance that it's with an Orc pack and there's a priest and or a wizard up there. So before we find out if that's the case, we're going to pre-dig this little path here. So then we can fight enemies in here one at a time. Means that the priest, if there is one, can't sit there smiting. And there isn't. That's okay. You want to be safe. Not sorry. A Wand of Flame. Okay. Not too exciting. Formicids have a +1 evocations aptitude, so they're pretty good with it. But a Wand of Flame is not a wand that's going to prompt me to want to train evocations. A Norse Shaman. Okay, well, we got lucky to find him on his own. He's got the haste other ability, so if he hastes one of these halberd gnolls, you can be in a lot of trouble. We're on D4 here. So for him to be hasting Harbor Knolls on D4, terrifying. But yeah, we got him on his own. That's our stealth, I suppose. To level 7. Still need 2 more levels. LRD is gonna take quite a bit more training though, even just in terms of Earth. So I guess I don't need to be checking it all the time. Also, we can drop this. We don't want to drop the plain dagger. Okay, I changed my mind. If we find a scroll of brand weapon, we'll want to use it on. Okay, hang on. Multiple orcs again. So we'll make our path. We might want to try to get an elect dagger. Yeah, see, that's a wizard. So we're gonna, I guess, shoot at him. And then we're going to get in our hidey hole like this. So it has to be adjacent to us. And can't just hex us from range. We'll XV him. He's only wearing a robe. So we're fine to just hit him with the sandblast. Here is a Formicid fighter ghost. Can hit for up to 18 damage. That is a terrifying amount. Let's see. How do we kill a red ghost? I don't know that we can. Probably Stone Arrow is the better play, but we can try Sandblast first. Kind of hits him. I mean, kind of hurts him, but not really. You cannot petrify a ghost, unfortunately. Or can you? Apparently you can. No, he's unaffected. Yeah, you can't. We need to go back upstairs. We don't want to die to him. Okay, I think we probably just can't kill him. Also, there's an ogre. Let's try to poison him a bit. We got him twice. Okay. And now we'll start just walking away. And we'll see if he'll tick out the poison. Excellent. There's the priest. Same thing. We want to dig our little hidey hole. I like digging it all the way out so that we're not trapped in. We can escape if need be. And then we'll go back. There you are. Our petrify chance is so likely to fail. I'm surprised that we even got it off against that ghost. Come here, I'm gonna yell. I want to attract him to the kill hole rather than give him multiple chances to smite us. He is wearing leather armor, so we can sandblast. It's fine. You're starving, okay. Part of the reason we're getting so hungry is that as we dig, it causes hunger. And hey, here's our temple. Nice. We'll just do a scope around. And then if you hit Control O, there's a nice little tip to find all the different gods in the game. Alright, so which god are we going to do? The thing about Formicid when you're picking a god is that I think it's a really strong choice to choose a god with powerful panic buttons. And that's because without the ability to teleport, to blink, or to haste, you can get in really bad situations that you can do nothing about. Whereas if your god has a panic button, then you've got some sort of play that you can make. So really strong panic button gods. Ru is one, Zin is one, Che, believe it or not, is Step from Time is a good panic button. Let's see. They're probably the best ones. Quaz has Disaster Area. I don't know, playing a Formicid of Quaz is interesting. I have done it before, you can do it, but it's interesting. And I'd say in some ways Ured is one. He's got Drain Life. All those guys are pretty good. Having a look at our aptitudes, Formicids have a +2 invocation skill. So it is a really strong choice to pick Zin. Not only do you have the best panic button in terms of Sanctuary, but you can make really good use of his abilities due to how heavily they depend on invocations. But not that long ago we played Xin, so I don't really want to do that. I think the god that I would like to play is Ru, who's over here. He does a few different things that are really good for Formicid, but I think I'll talk more about them in depth to start the next episode. So we'll just quickly kneel here before Ru. Let's see. The description is really flowery for this one. Well, not flowery, but you can see it's very lore-driven. Basically, Ru is the god of sacrifices. As you make sacrifices to him, he gives you power that can aid you. Yeah, so we're gonna join him. Excellent. And we're gonna stop that one for now. So if you join me in the next one, I'll explain Ru, and we'll see if we can start building up some of his piety. Bye.